I got asked the same question a couple of times this week, so I thought I'd just do a quick video on it, and it was about setting text to arcs or shapes of memorials, etc. So if we were wanting to make in loving memory of arc around the top of this memorial, there's a simple way within Corel to actually do that. The first thing to look at is actually selecting this text and then going to the text menu up here, and you can choose this option Fit Text to Path, and Fit Text to Path will do exactly what we wanted to do. However, if I click this object, it says it's an invalid object, and the reason it's an invalid object is that this object here is a group of objects. It's the round memorial shape. So the first thing you have to do if you're going to do this, and I'll show you a couple of ways of doing it, but my preferred method is to ungroup the objects, your memorial shape. So Control U to ungroup, and I can now select my text and I can go text, fit text to path, and now I can fit the text to that path. That red line that you see there is the snap line for centering the text on that arc. So as I move over here, it's no longer centered on that arc, and as it goes around, and there's another red line there where it's on the edge, so it now runs in loving memory of finishes in the middle of the memorial. So you can use those red lines as a snap to put the text onto an arc. So that's a fairly simple one. Let's have a look at another way of doing that. So I've got a slightly different shape here, and in this one, if I was to ungroup this object, I'm going to press Control U to ungroup, and then this time I need to ungroup the object, the memorial headpiece again. So as I look at these objects, this object here is a transparent object, and so this is the edge along the bottom that we're likely to want to put the arc onto. And if I try and make the text fit that arc, you can see it will do it upside down, but as I move away, it defaults to the outside edge. So if I just press escape a second, so it's actually defaulting to this object, which is the outer object, and that's probably not the object that we want to fit the text to the path. So the way to get around that is to actually draw an arc this time and fit it directly to that. So I'm just going to do undo and put my Lindisfarne back together, and I'm now going to choose a Bezier tool, and I'm going to just draw a line. Bezier tool, if people haven't used it, is very cool for doing curves, and I can just tweak the shape of that slightly. So I've now got a line that follows my my arc reasonably well. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to select my text, and I'm going to say text, fit text to path, and now it will follow that arc and continue following that arc. And then the final thing that we need to be aware of when we're doing this is sometimes the text will invert itself and put itself upside down. So if I wanted to put in loving memory of along the bottom edge here instead of the top, so if I just click this and go text, fit text to path, if I choose the top, it looks right. As I rotate round, it's now no longer looking right. It's looking decidedly wrong. It's not the way that I wanted this to be. So what I can do is I can say, right, we'll put it there, but I want in to be on this side of the stone and of to be on this side. So what I'm now going to do is I'm just going to mirror this text in two axes. So mirroring it, you'd like to think you could do it using these tools, but unfortunately you can't. In this instance, what you have to do is go up here and you go minus 100 there, and that's now created me a mirror image in that direction. And if I now do minus 100 there, it now looks the way that I wanted it to do, and I can just move it away or closer to the edge as I see fit. So that's how you go about doing that. The one thing to be aware of in this situation is that these objects, this text, has tied itself to the ellipse as well. So if I just select the text, you can see it selects the text and the circle, and therefore if I go to the cut page, I will get the text and the circle cutting at the same time, and that probably isn't what you're after. So the thing that I always do when I've finished laying text out on the curve and I'm happy with its location, etc., I can go Object, Break Text Apart, and that now separates my text out so I can just plot the text on its own. Hope that helps.